Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life, because the Mets are really socking the ball, knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the Mets of New York town. Oh, the butcher and the baker and the people on the streets, where do they go? To meet the Mets! Oh, they're hollering and cheering and they're jumping in their seats. Where do they go? To meet the Mets! All the fans are true to the orange and blue, so hurry up and come on down, 'cause we got ourselves a ball club, the Mets of New York town. Give 'em a yell, give 'em a hand, and let 'em know you're rooting in the stand. Come on and meet the Mets, meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life, because the Mets are really socking the ball, knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the Mets of New York town, of New York town.
We are live, Mets fans. Thanks so much to everyone just chiming in. Really appreciate you. Hot off the press of our last live stream of the in-game stream for this 6-3 Mets victory. Now we got post-game with some very familiar faces, that being GiraffeNeckMarc, of course, and Matt from Stark Raving Sports. How are you both doing tonight, guys?
Doing great, man. Thanks for having me.
Big win. Feeling great. Always happy to talk after a win.
Absolutely, yeah. We've walked out. Sometimes I try to make it so we're kind of in line for a win more often than not when I do these post games. And even with Jake only going 3 innings, and we're going to break that down plenty, the Mets still got the dub massively. So again, thank you all so much to everyone that just chimed in. Really appreciate all you guys. But let's just dive right in, okay? So the Mets win 6-3, as we know, and Jacob deGrom comes in firing bullets, 8 strikeouts for the first 9 batters he sees, 3 innings, and then you see him, of course, go to the locker room, and then that's it for him. The game, dealing with some right shoulder soreness. I know that he's talked on SNY already, said how he's just fed up with these injuries constantly happening. So hopefully it's nothing too long-term, but let's start with you, Matt. What was your initial reaction to see Jake after 3 scoreless, no-hit innings go into the tunnel like that?
I can't say it's anything I've ever experienced before. It's like my heart was kind of just ripped out of my body, but it feels like a lot of people felt the same way. I don't know. It was just one of the most impressive performances I've seen from him, which is saying a lot because he's who he is. And then to just have it all disappear like that. I mean, who knows what he could have done tonight? The Cubs only had 2 hits the entire game. So it could have been the night. I don't want to say that, but it hurts, but we still got the win. So that's great. And we still got to see the best do his thing, which we should be thankful for every day we can.
Exactly.
Dude, I was so when Gary and Ron and all them were talking about it, they're like, he doesn't look right. And I don't know if you guys caught it, but at one point, Ron, I think, was trying to say under his breath, something's wrong. And you heard it very faint in the background. I was like, please be wrong. Please just be old guys looking into it too much. Clearly they weren't. It was terrible because Gary said it best. This might have been the best start to a game, 3 innings ever. I don't know anybody who's struck out 9 guys to start a game. He struck out 8. That's pretty electric. He had no hit, perfect game type stuff again, and that was with a bad shoulder. I mean, this guy just literally isn't a human.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I know that Jake had 8 Ks through the first 9, and I think this just goes to show how spoiled, and I'll use myself as an example just for us Mets fans with how brilliant he is every 5th day, that I'm looking at him, I'm seeing his game work. He's through 50 or so pitches now through 3 innings. I'm like, how did Ortega do as well as he did against him? I know that he was trying to get the 101 heater inside on him. He couldn't. He gets a strikeout, I believe, with the 93 slider or so. But I was like, it was between that at-bat and one more to end the 3rd, and then he went out. And that stood out the most to me. It's I see this guy dominate, get at least 10 Ks a game. So completely blew over my head to begin with, that this guy has 8 Ks in only 3 innings. I'm like, this is literally unprecedented. So for him to be pulled out, it definitely sucked big time. But I was trying to stay content because 5 days ago, when he got hurt with the right flexor tendonitis, and me not being a doctor, having no clue how to figure out initially what was going on, when I realized it was a right shoulder soreness, I'm like, okay, hopefully it's nothing too serious. But a lot of people were pointing fingers thinking, oh, Louis Rojas, this is his fault for laying him pitch, but letting Jake go when Jake knows his body so well. Jake, it's his fault too, but it's a new injury. You can't blame anyone in this situation. All we can hope is that it's nothing serious. But in a game where Jacob deGrom only goes 3 innings, and you have a bullpen with Sean Reed-Foley giving up a bomb, a piss missile to Anthony Rizzo, that he just almost got one on Jacob deGrom, as we know, it just fell short on the warning track. They still got the job done. He gets the win, SRF, and the Mets bullpen really stood tall. So, Matt, starting with you, what was your biggest takeaways from the Mets bullpen tonight, and eliminating the Cubs to only getting 3 hits, and 2 of those 3, of course, were home runs?
I mean, this has been the story, the whole season with the Mets, where they face roadblock after roadblock, and they just continuously find pieces to plug in and do their thing. And that's something that's been really refreshing this year, whereas past seasons we've had questionable offseason moves that are made, and, a lot of them might not work out. But this year it seems like almost every, even like small level move, like a Pilar or a VR, like moves like that throughout the offseason just to fortify the roster, are paying huge dividends. And I mean, that's what first place teams and championship winning teams need. It seems like a common denominator most years. So that's a big deal, obviously. And to have a guy like deGrom, who was doing what he was doing, get pulled out, and obviously the fans are kind of upset about it, and it kind of takes the atmosphere right out of the ballpark there. And to have people come in and do their thing and kind of right the ship just shows the grit that the team's had, that they've shown all year, and hopefully will continue to do so.
Yeah, I mean, like, talking about like 2 guys that need to see like some good innings out of, Castro and May, both came in. Specifically May, who hasn't really looked sharp since, after the first month. It was good to see him come in, get a clean inning, get some strikeouts. The slider was like really nasty again tonight, which he just hasn't had recently. So that was really positive outing from those 2. That was nice, coming off of some rough outings. And then, I mean, like, it kind of stunk that Drew Smith couldn't clean it up and finish out, and we had to get Edwin in. But the bullpen again, man, saved us. Like, who would have thought coming off of deGrom start, we would have to go, Sean Reed-Foley and use everybody out there, but they just continue to do their job, something we haven't been able to say as Mets fans too often.
Yeah, and what really stood out to me too was Trevor May. I mean, Trevor May has not had it past good a couple of weeks. As we know, really the past month has not been what we originally saw from him to start the season, when he was flat out dominant. But May, this was a perfect outing for him to come in with a multiple run lead, to the point I think it was 4 or 5 runs when he came in, had a dominant, struck out the side, I believe, in the 8th. He just had everything going for him right. That's a huge confidence boost for him. I know that he was working on the vlog today, so I'm excited to see when the next one comes out. But Trevor May was great to see. Aaron Loop, another guy that had a scoreless inning, probably in my mind, if not the most overlooked and like underrated player on the Mets right now. He's awfully close. Aaron Loop has had a phenomenal season with the Mets thus far, and has a sub-2 ERA, 1.93 to be exact, after another scoreless. So give credit to the southpaw on the pen. He's getting the job done. And when we were weighing the options between him and Justin Wilson, another great move by Zach Scott in the end of bringing Aaron Loop in over the 2. So with that being said, I want to expand a little bit further here on kind of the Mets tonight and their offense, because it wasn't all that great. The Mets had a lot of opportunities to score with guys in scoring position. Basically every game, it felt like the Cubs starting pitcher, normally a reliever, gave up a walk to issue the start of the inning, but the Mets were able to get the right amount of hits, timely hitting. They had 5 hits on the night to get to their 6 runs. And Matt, why don't I start with you with how the offense prevailed in the end, while at the same time showing some clear struggles when they probably could have taken a far bigger advantage than what they did.
And I mean, those kind of nuances, at least for me, I only worry about those when, it's like a 3-2 game. When it's 6-1 for most of the game and we finish 6-3 and we have that cushion, I don't worry about it too much. They're still finding ways to score runs, and as long as they can do that, I don't really put too much worry into that. I worry enough about all things Mets as it is, so I try to limit it where possible. But hey, they're scoring 6 runs. It's okay.
Yeah, no, I feel like that's the perfect way to explain it. Like, scored 6 runs. I don't really care about like anything that like happened where like Dom had that one at bat with the bases loaded, check swung again after like the base, or after throwing 4 straight balls. From a approach perspective, terrible. But the Mets had the lead. He still got a run in even then. I think it made it 5-1 at that point. He had a home run in the game, which is great because that's something we haven't seen a lot from him, is the power. Pilar has just been money. The dude's OPS is above 700 now, which like in most years, you'd be like, that's just kind of a league average player. But right now, with the way the baseballs are and everything, like 250, 719 from him is a really good looking slash line from a guy who's supposed to be our fourth outfielder. So he's been huge for us. Everybody steps up when we need it. I mean, even Jacob deGrom got another RBI because, of course, he did.
Exactly. And I'm so glad he brought up Jake's RBI because I feel like that got taken away out of nowhere as soon as he was out of the game. All we're worrying about is deGrom being hurt. And another game, he comes in for a setback. He gets himself, I believe it was a 2-out single for an RBI. He's just been dominant all year round. He's batting way over 400. I mean, Shohei Ohtani, who you don't need a DH in the NL when you got this guy every fifth day. It's just remarkable to see what he's doing. And I appreciate him that much more for what it is, like MVP caliber stuff, as long as he can stay healthy, truly. But to talk about the offense, though, you're right. And it's huge that the Mets got these runs, and they played small ball in the end. We're looking really good when it came to strike zone. They knew that the Cubs were really struggling to find an out, and they, of course, were led to a walk that led into a run as well. And then the half swing / check swing, Dom Smith, the worst swing imaginable, but it went perfectly right down first base. So we'll take that RBI any day of the week. So I can't complain. And shout out to Dom as well. He deserves credit after having an abysmal series against the Padres. They've been his kryptonite this season thus far. He comes in and he was rolling batting 500 going into tonight, had a home run, and looked stellar in left field on his birthday, no less. Now coming in the day after, gets himself another bomb tonight. So that's great to see from Dom. And Kevin Pillar, I don't know if I should call him Batman or Superman. Either way, this guy's been electric, and he's doing the right things for the Mets because what he's doing, not just in the field, because he's at least average, and I would definitely say he's still above average for the most part. Defending wise, he's been unbelievably clutch, getting the ball into the corner with some doubles or home runs. He's just been unstoppable. I've been loving him. I can't wait to get his jersey. I've been saying this over the past month. I need to get this guy right now. But to expand even further on this, though, again, deGrom, even though, yes, he was, of course, out with injury, for everyone just chiming in, guys, he does go 3 innings tonight and gets himself 8 strikeouts against 9 batters. And then if you look at some other guys tonight, there really weren't many that stood out with the bat. Of course, Tomas Nido had himself a run scored after 1 hit. We saw that's really about it. Dominic Smith with, of course, the 1 hit for a home run for 2 RBIs. And that's it. Only 5 hits for the Mets tonight, but they got timely hitting tonight, and now they win the series. And if you think this was the best it was going to get, now we got Marcus Stroman, who's kind of good at baseball, kind of good at pitching. He'll be on the mound tomorrow against Kyle Hendricks, who I know very well, Matt. Ooh. You love Kyle Hendricks.
I love Kyle Hendricks
too. Oh. He's been slumping this year. I'm not going to jinx anything because he's probably going to throw a no-no.
I already did. It's okay.
But no less. What's your stance now heading into tomorrow's game with the Mets now winning this series? Of course, the first 3. That's huge because I like to just touch on one more thing. The biggest by far question mark going into leading up to game 3 tonight was game 1 for David Pearson. How would he bounce back for the Mets? In my mind, if the Mets had any chance of winning the series, it was David Pearson somehow clutching up, and that's what he did. So now to have the Mets sweeping basically the Cubs in a normal 3-game set and getting a chance to add on a 4th win tomorrow. Matt, let's start with you. How does that make you feel riding high now with a series win to tomorrow's game?
It kind of feels like when you finish all your homework on a Friday and Saturday, and Sunday you're kind of just chilling without the stress. I'm not too worried about tomorrow. We already took the series, won 3 or 4 at home. We're 20-6 at home now, which is kind of crazy. I think that's the best in baseball. So the pressure's kind of off. I'm just gonna take it easy and enjoy myself. But like you said, Stroman is pretty solid. And unfortunately, my best friend Kyle Hendricks is having a rough season since I made that video on him, but I'll talk about that. But we'll see. Should be fun. I'll just enjoy watching Kyle do his thing. But hopefully Stroman can. Oh, yeah. I see.
Bring out the brooms, baby. Bring out the brooms. Let's sweep the Cubs. Get them out of New York.
Mark showing no mercy whatsoever.
Bring out the brooms. Bury them. Let's go.
Oh, one more thing. The Mets. I know you said they only had 5 hits today. I think 5 or 6 hits. They walked 20 times in the last 3 games.
That's so funny. I was literally looking that up when we were talking about walks. I was literally looking that up.
I don't know if that's more on the
good eye. That's all I can say, man. They've been clutching up. They have, and that's huge for the Mets. And we have to remember that how clutch they've been with not just the eye at the plate, but we do have some guys that have fairly good eyes at the plate. And Jeff McNeil coming back as soon as this weekend, Michael Conforto, who we know can be really diligent at the plate at times, and Brandon Nimmo, who looks like he'd be starting his rehab assignment as soon as this weekend too. So talk about on base guys. It only looks like the sky's the limit for the Mets right now. So that's great to see. But again, guys, if you're just chiming in, thank you all so much for being here. We have GiraffeNeckMarc, of course, and Matt from Stark Raving Sports, two of the best baseball YouTubers you will ever find. And luckily, they're diehard Mets fans, so that's why we got them on the show tonight. So I appreciate you guys all being here after this Mets massive 6-3 win. And let's talk about the ninth now, because Drew Smith, and I'm not really going to gripe about it or anything, but I was saying that, maybe give him one more batter, and then if that doesn't go well, if you have the tying runs on, then bring in Diaz. But no less, you save Diaz, you give him the 1-out save, he gets the job done. So, Mark, starting with you, what has your impression been on Edwin Diaz? Because I know you haven't been the biggest lover of him in the past. We know that 2019 still does not resonate well with you. But in my mind, it feels like after each passing day, 2019 feels more and more of an anomaly in the sense that Edwin Diaz, he had that one really fluky year, and I blame to an extent more Mickey Callaway and Brody Van Wagenen's doing than even Edwin's. What we've seen in 2020, now 2021, he's one of the best closers and overall relievers in baseball. So what's your stance on how well he's done this season and now gained another clutch 1-out save for the Mets tonight?
Yeah, 2019 just wasn't real. I'm pretty sure I was just stuck in a nightmare. So I like that season just didn't even happen really in my eyes for Edwin Diaz. Like he's money. I have no doubt in him anymore. I've just completely accepted the fact that like this is the player we traded for. He's absolutely filthy. He's going to get the job done when we need him to. There's going to be a time where he blows it. Like we know it's going to come at some point, but like I don't go into every game now that he comes in and go, how is he going to blow it? I go, this dude, it's over. We got this on lock. Like he's been so good. I can't take any shots at him anymore. What about you, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, I got to be honest. I'm still, a little nervous. It takes me a while to get over things, but I'm gaining a lot more confidence in him. He's been phenomenal in safe situations this year, so I'm definitely more confident, I think, now than I've ever been with him. But at least, just personally for me, it takes a little longer to build some trust. But I totally get why people are as confident in him now as he is, because his peripherals, his advanced statistics are great. He's just been phenomenal. Mostly in safe situations, but that's where you really need him to lock it down. So give it a couple weeks, give it a month or so. I think I'll be around eventually.
Have you been to a game though and seen him come out to the trumpets? That's the real question.
Oh no, I'm going on Monday, and I keep thinking that is the one thing I want to see.
That will change your opinion. You're at the game, you hear the trumpets. I'm like, this guy, he's got to do it now. Like, there's no way.
All right, it's like the magical tune that just reworks your memory. Just all right.
If a song is the perfect way to flip Mets fan perspective about a closer as the stereotypicalness of what being a Mets fan is, and I don't know what else. Because this guy, if you look at what he's done and you look at the Mets fan perspective, they hate on him from day one, probably more so because of the trade than actual his performance. But then I could tell you, I was at, I think, at least 3 games in the 2019 season when he blew saves. I did not have fun. And I think at least 1 or 2 of them were in Philly. So he definitely was not on the right side of my end and being in favor of him. But what Diaz has done now, cue the trumpets. We all love that stuff. He's going to continue to do it. And I'm just so excited to see what the Mets are going to be doing going forward now, because now heading into tomorrow's matchup against the Cubs for hopefully the series sweep, you get Stroman now on the mound, and we'll see who's available in the pen. But if the Mets can hopefully get 6 to 7 innings out of Stroh, I love their chances. And I think what's really needs to be pointed out here about the Mets, like we've been saying all year long, is how resilient they've been and how it's been such a great next man up mentality. And with saying that too, it is kind of funny how now with all this next man up and guys finally starting to get healthy, with everyone on rehab assignments, hopefully coming back soon. Positive news, Carlos Carrasco is actually alive. He's throwing the ball. Hopefully this isn't Jen Lowry. I don't think it is. But no less, the baseball guys decided, you know what? We're going to make sure that Jonathan Villar gets drilled in the year, stealing first to second, thanks to a Jose Lobaton throw. And then we get Dominic Smith getting hit right in the knee. And that might have been the same knee that he originally hurt a couple weeks ago. I'm not sure. He limps the first, and then Jacob deGrom getting hurt. It's like, why can't we have nice things? I'm like, the LOL Mets starts with the baseball gods and it goes down. So kind of to cap off basically the discussion on the game tonight, I want to start with you now, Matt. What is your expectations for the Mets going forward now that they're going to start to heal up? And how excited are you knowing that they are 10 games above 500? I never thought I'd be saying that this soon in the season, given all their injuries. A month ago, I'm thinking of, okay, what are all the different possibilities of players they could trade for to just salvage the season right now with all these injuries? But they have been unbelievably resilient, such a great next man up mentality. So, Matt, what's your stance on all of that?
I guess I'll tackle the second question first. Be very excited. I'm really happy to be watching a team who I expect to win, and that's not something I've been able to say in recent years. But in terms of what I see for the near future, the next couple weeks up to the All-Star break are going to be a pretty big deal. I think they only have one off day. I might be wrong, but up until the All-Star break, they may only have one off day. They have 3 doubleheaders in the next week and a half, 2 weeks. Bullpen's going to be pretty taxed. How are you going to get around that, especially if you need to give DeGrom a start off, maybe more? So I talked before about the grit and resiliency of this team, and that's really going to be tested. I know they've been tested a lot already, but even with players like Nimmo or Conforto or McNeil coming back, it's still going to be kind of tough to do it. But if they can, I mean, we're playing mostly division foes, so we can, I don't want to say lock up the East, but we can sit pretty comfortably for a while if we play well the next few weeks. But I'm optimistic they can get it done. They've consistently shown that they can, but it's just going to be a little tougher over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, like, this schedule gets crazy. Like, the Nationals doubleheader, then 2 nights later we got the Braves doubleheader, then 3 nights later we got the Phillies doubleheader. Like, they are gonna go through the gauntlet here. So if there was ever a time for this team to start to get healthy, it's now. What's really great is having a guy like Lugo back, because he can give us a couple innings out of the pen. He'll be out for a day or two, but like, those 2 innings could be huge. We saw, last night against the Cubs too. Like, being able to get length from our starters and then having the bullpen really just like lock it down, close it up, is going to be so important here. We're not going to win every single game. We're in the driver's seat right now. The Braves, I think, are losing again to the Red Sox tonight, and the Phillies got the Dodgers again. Like, 5.5. Yeah, things you love to see. 5.5 on Philly right now, 7 on Atlanta. We are in the driver's seat. Take it one game at a time. Play to win every single game like we have been. I think Luis Rojas has done a fantastic job. I trust everything with this Mets team. I'm pumped to watch these games.
They have such a different feel. And look, I'm not a seasoned Mets fan. Mark, I think you're the most seasoned here. I'm only 20 years of age, so give or take 6 straight seasons of me following the Mets intensely. I've never seen a team like this before. Even when they've had their great playoff runs, especially most notably 2015, it never felt like this in my mind, in the sense of just that next man up mentality again. And it feels like it doesn't matter who they throw out there. They're just going to get the job done. And I feel fairly comfortable about it. They're just finding different ways to win on an every given night basis. And they're making the right decisions, sneaky decisions, and not nearly enough credit. And I say this so many times is given to Luis Rojas. I know he's not the best manager in the world. I know that he makes some bonehead bullpen decisions, but at the same time, the Mets also have one of the best bullpens and overall starting pitching staff in baseball. So it goes hand in hand. It's like, as long as his decisions are outweighing his bad decisions by a large margin, which is what they are, and that's all you could ask for from him. So to see Rojas doing what he's doing, knowing that this might be the last year he's with the club, depending on what the remainder of the year in the offseason entails, not being on the extension, is huge. And what they're doing now with guys like Zach Scott, of course, their brilliant GM, bringing in these guys, the depth guys in the offseason, adding guys also with the injuries, the Billy McKinneys of the world, Billy Mack. I know he didn't have a great night tonight, but he has just been electric for the Mets out of nowhere with popping his bat. You got all these other guys, even Travis Blankenhorn, while he wasn't much, he was just another body in there. But Mason Williams, like, they just continue to get the job done. And I've never felt this comfortable about a Mets team. And the fact that they aren't even remotely close to being healthy is, jaw-dropping in my mind. I don't know what else to say on the matter other than I'm just really excited. It's like, this is the floor. Now what's the ceiling? And I think the ceiling's pretty damn high at this rate.
It's crazy what happens when you have a front office that cares,
A front office that cares, a front office that's smart. Like, the fact that the Mets shift now, like, towards the top of the league, that's a huge reason why a guy like Marcus Stroman and Taijuan Walker are both having the success that they are. Like, yes, we have Jeremy Hefner, who's making them even better pitchers to begin with, but we're putting guys in the right positions to get outs. How many times have balls been hit up the middle this year, and Lindor or Guillorme or Peraza is just standing right there, no problem, easy out, when in years past, we're like, how are we the only team that doesn't play up the middle like that? So they just put the guys in the right spots in the right scenarios. They're officially part of like that, those teams that like are just smarter than everyone else. I truly believe that. And
those kinds of teams can make, I don't want to say bad players, but worse off players going somewhere else better. So
yeah,
that's a big deal.
It's like the Billy McKinney thing. It's like getting stuff out of VR, Pilar. Like, I mean, even Drew Smith has become like a really good closer out of the pen. Aaron Loop's been sick. Casher, like, they're pushing these guys forward to become, they're getting the most out of their guys. It's Tampa Bay Rays-ish like.
And I think the biggest takeaway out of this is The fact that the Mets are so analytically driven, which is something they've never been before. They used to be abysmal with shifting. Analytics, they would just laugh at. Now Zach Scott comes in, the analytics guru during his time with the Red Sox. As we know, they're one of the top teams in shifting. I know Lindor doesn't like the shift, but he does enjoy when he's able to, of course, make some nice stops and save runs. And that's what they've been doing every given night. And with all these situational hitting, everyone is just in the right place at the right time. They're vibing off of one another. And you're right. The Mets, what separates them now from the rest, and it's going to be curious to see for the remainder of the year and the years to follow under Steve Cohen and Zach Scott and Sandy Alderson, is the fact that they have such a great analytics group, but they don't have the small budget like you see with the A's, with the Twins, with the Rays. That's going to be the X factor to really make them the stereotypical saying of being the East Coast Dodgers. Like, that is huge for them. Being advanced analytically while not overtaking things where it's to the point where, yes, it's going to benefit you a hell of a lot during the season, but come crunch time and playoffs, you're not going to have those X factors because you simply can't afford them. The Mets have it all right in their grasp. So it's just there for the taking. And that, in my mind, is what makes this team so appealing, not just now, but for the foreseeable future. And I think with that being said, though, as long as you guys don't have any other comments, it's basically going to wrap up the stream, guys. There wasn't too much to talk about. The Mets win this one again, 6-3, really dominant fashion. DeGrom, he's out of the game with shoulder soreness, but it shouldn't be. Hopefully, it's nothing too long term. Maybe he misses a start. I'm not sure. No less, though, they get clutch hits. Dom Smith with another home run. Kevin Pillar with a home run. And they got the bullpen to work when they needed to, and a clutch timing big time. So with that being said, thank you so much again, guys. And Mark, of course, let us know where we can find you. Any final thoughts? And same thing with you, Matt.
Yeah, let's go Mets. Luis Rojas we trust. GiraffeNeckMarc everywhere. I'm going to plug my podcast as well. Look, we got stickers now too. Mets'd Up Podcast. Listen up. It's a good
Number
Mets
48
podcast.
in the country, right?
Number 48 in the country.
Dude, that's nuts. So. I saw that earlier. I was like, what? Already? I'm like, Jesus.
Thank you. Yeah, it's you guys are Mets
Congratulations.
fans. Listen to the Mets'd Up Podcast. After every series, we drop a new episode.
Sorry. That's awkward. Falling off.
No, you're good.
You can find me at Stark Raving Sports. That's all I got. Subscribe to these two wonderful gentlemen right here.
Oh, thank you so much. And again, I'll have all the links to everything in the description down below, guys. Stay tuned for that. And we have one final comment before we get out of here, a donation. And Bates is a great subscriber on the channel. He's been joking with me for a bit now. He wants me to talk to you guys quick about the Lindor conspiracy. So he views it as a conspiracy. I don't know why, because it's not a conspiracy. It's a statistical fact. But a week and a half ago, I was waking up and I was like, I want to look up Lindor's numbers. So I looked up his splits, and Lindor to that point, and things have changed a little bit since then because I know he had an early home run against the Padres. But Francisco Lindor this season, innings 1 through 4 is fairly abysmal. He's batting way below 200. Innings 5 through 9, he's just under 300. And I've been referencing that because he's been getting a lot of clutch hits later in the game. It just takes him a little bit to get adjusted. And he's always calling me out like it's a conspiracy, but I'm like, it's not. So he wanted me to tell you that. So there you go. As of now, the numbers, as far as I know, from like a week and a half ago, still defend that. But yeah, just a little thing about Lindor. Not saying it's a good thing, but at the same time, I'm glad Lindor is a better player towards the latter half of the game than in the beginning, and then cuts off maybe when the Mets are trying to rally.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, hop on those relievers. I'm all about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so with that being said, that's going to do it for this stream, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. This was a great one. We'll be doing more Mets post games, and I'm sure we'll have these two lovely gentlemen. So check them out in the description down below. Thank you all so much, and let's go Mets.
Let's go Mets, baby.
Thanks, guys.